Dear participants, welcome to Riga Water Investor webinar. We will begin with the company's presentation, after which we will address your questions. You're kindly invited to submit them in writing through the Q&A box that you see below the presentation. For your convenience, the webinar is being recorded and replay will be available shortly after the call. I will now be handing over to our hosts of the call, Krišjāns Krūmiņš, Chairman of the Management Board, and Agnes Ozolkai, member of the Management Board of Riga Water. Please, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. And moreover, thank you for your trust in Riga Water business. I'm pleased to present 2025 annual report of Riga Water and walk you through our operational and sustainability performance. My colleague Agnes Ozolkai will present company financial results. And today we will focus on four things: who we are and scale of our business. Second, our strategic and sustainability priorities. Third, financial performance. And the fourth one, our strategic focus 2026. Let me start with a brief overview of Riga Water. We are a regulated service provider fully owned by Riga City Municipality, and we provide essential water and wastewater services to around half of Latvia's markets, serving over 600,000 customers. Our network extends for roughly 2.8 thousand kilometers, and we employ more than 750 people. In Riga, over 98% of residents use centralized water systems, and a bit less, more than 97% use centralized wastewater systems. This is very high level of service coverage by European standards and demonstrates a critical nature of our infrastructure for the region. From financial standpoint, in 2025, we generated about 80 million in revenue and 31 million euros in EBITDA, with regulated asset base of around 511 million and annual capex close to 49 million euros. We hold an A3 credit rating from Moody's, reflecting our strong quality as municipal utility company. Moving further, our strategy in 2025 was driven by four clear priorities. First, we are accelerating our investment program. Given the age and importance of our networks, we are multi-year cycle of rehabilitation, expansion, and modernization with a strong focus on resilience and environmental performance. Second, we are developing capital market financing as a long-term funding instrument. Our successful green bond issue is an important milestone. Third, we are implementing the European Sustainability Standards, ESRS, and this is not just a compliance exercise. We are reshaping how we assess impacts, manage risks, and communicate with investors. And fourth, we are driving digital transformation from telemetry and data platforms to customer interfaces to improve efficiency, reliability, and customer experience. Our sole shareholder, as mentioned before, is Riga Municipality, has set clear financial and non-financial objectives for Riga Water. On the financial side, the focus is on stability and prudence, maintaining DSCR above 1.2, an equity ratio above 35%, and an average 3-year profit margin above 7%, while keeping doubtful and non-performing receivables below 1% of revenue. On the investment side, the shareholder expects our investment to depreciation ratio to exceed 130%. So we are clearly in a net reinvestment phase and to allocate at least 2% of our investment program to innovation, digitalization, and development projects over the medium term. In 2025, we were at around 1.4%, so we are progressing towards our target. And non-financial objectives include specific network expansion projects such as Mangaļsala and Dārziņi, as well as thematic priorities groups in 8 areas, from energy efficiency and renewable energy to customer satisfaction, employee well-being, and broader environmental awareness. Turning our key performance indicators for 2025. On the operational side, volumes were broadly stable, with slight increase in water sold and a marginal decrease in sewer services year-on-year. More importantly, we continue our network renewal, renovating around 24 kilometers of pipelines and adding 5.6 kilometers of new network. And we connected more than 1,200 new service users. On the financial side, revenue increased by 5.2% compared to 2024, supported mainly by tariff adjustments, and EBITDA reached around 31 million euros. At the same time, we delivered a sizable investment program of 48.5 million euros. Our capital structure remains conservative. Net debt to EBITDA is about 2.4 times, and the equity ratio is around 71%, significantly above the shareholders' minimum threshold. Our performance needs to be seen in the context of the macroeconomic environment in Latvia and Riga. In recent years, we have seen elevated inflation and higher interest rates, which affect both our operating costs and cost of capital for our investment program. Euribor has moved from negative territory to clearly positive levels, while inflation has normalized from double-digit peaks to remain as a factor. At the same time, Riga's population has been gradually declining, which structurally limits demand growth for water services. However, average household incomes have increased, supporting affordability despite tariff adjustments. As a regulated utility, we manage these trends through the tariff setting process and careful cost control. But it's important for investors to understand that we operate in a low growth, high capex environment, where the focus is on service quality and resilience, not volume growth. Key sustainability events are integrated in our 8 non-financial goals. So, in line with ESRS requirements, we conducted a double materiality assessment, looking both at our impacts on the environment and society, and at the financial materiality of these topics for Riga Water. Not surprisingly, for water utility, topics such as water drainage and wastewater treatment, climate change mitigation and adaptation, water contamination and consumption, and air pollution rank high in both impact and financial materiality. On the social side, working conditions, personal security, equal treatment, and social inclusion are also a key. Governance aspects such as corruption and bribery prevention and information-related impact on consumers are also material. Some topics, for example, certain types of wastewater substances of concern are less material in our specific context. This assessment is now embedded in our risk management, investment planning, and reporting. It provides the backbone of our ESG compliant sustainability disclosures. On environmental side, we are working on both climate risk adaptation and emission reduction. In terms of climate risks, the main threats for us are heavy rains, snow, flood, and storm. We were investing in sewer line monitoring, sensor-based flow and flow measurement, on automated pump station and monitoring to increase the resilience of the system in emergencies. On climate mitigation, 2025 marked the first time we calculated Scope 3 emissions, and we achieved a 5.3% reduction in combined Scope 1 and Scope 2 emissions. We advanced projects such as 2 solar parks and started construction of digester tanks, which will further reduce our carbon footprint over time. We're also focused on reducing untreated wastewater discharges with the goal of keeping overflows below 2% and more than 28% of wastewater properly treated. This includes sewer network renovation, digitalization, and modernization of Daugavpils treatment plant. In 2025 alone, we renovated about 9 kilometers of sewer pipelines, extending services to more than 400 additional residents. And finally, we are addressing odor and noise through solutions like membrane-covered sludge storage and systematic communication with nearby residents. Another critical area for us is water resource efficiency and quality. In 2025, we developed a comprehensive water loss reduction plan, including detailed analysis of loss factors, the rollout of remote data reading, and network monitoring using 81 plug-in sensors. As a result, water losses decreased from 13.6% in 2024 to 11.6% in 2025, a meaningful improvement over 1 year. We continue to renovate our water networks. 14.7 kilometers of pipelines were renovated, and we expanded our flushing capacity over 300 kilometers. We also installed around 1,500 remote water meters, which improve data quality and allow earlier detection of leaks. In parallel, we are implementing our water safety plan, which includes network flashing based on academic research, long-term renovation plans, and the development of online water quality monitoring. The goal is clear: ensure high water quality and fewer supply disruptions, while making more efficient use of water resources. The next one, our people, of course, are critical asset, particularly in a technically demanding sector like water and wastewater. In year 2025, we strengthened our onboarding and mentoring programs, making it easier to bring in and retain younger talents. We have defined 10 key competencies and corresponding training paths, and we identified key roles of succession planning. We also worked on a fair, motivating remuneration system, including comparative assessment of positions. We are consciously maintaining our position among the top employers in terms of wage fairness. Transparency is high. 90% of our employees say they clearly understand how their wage is calculated. The impact is visible in the numbers. Average training hours per employee increases from 11 to 30 hours. 92% of our staff are satisfied with our working environment, and the engagement index is 88 points. And for employees, Net Promoter Score is +25 above the market benchmark. Okay, moving further, on the customer side, we are modernizing the way we interact with households and businesses. Over the next 2 years, we are deploying around 22,000 remotely read water meters, which will improve data quality, reduce manual work, and enable more proactive communication with our customers. We have modernized our customer portal based on a dedicated experience audit, with a particular focus on accessibility for people with special needs. At the same time, we have simplified requirements and document flows, moving to a 10-day standardized response time and resolving many issues immediately by the phone. We're also implementing automated communications, including robot calls, pulse surveys, and notifications about emergency repairs outside business hours. As a result, customer satisfaction is at 93%, above the national average. Customer engagement is over 11%, and we have reduced average contract signing time from up to 20 days to about 10 days. And 90% of our customers already use the portal, and our goal is to exceed 25% by year 2030. Governance is another pillar of our story. In recent years, we have significantly upgraded our internal governance and control framework. We have updated and formalized key policies, including our sustainability and responsible business policies, supplier code of conduct, remuneration and HR policy, code of ethics, and dedicated policies on conflict of interest, corruption risk prevention, and whistleblowing, as well as corporate governance, compliance, and risk management. These changes are not only internal, they have been recognized externally. Riga Water received the Transparency Leap Corporate Governance Prize from Bank of Latvia, achieved a 100-point score in the Corporate Governance Index, and our A3 Moody credit rating has been reaffirmed. In addition, our Green Bond program has been an independent, sustainable Fitch rating, underlining the robustness of our framework. For investors, this means high level of transparency, risk control, and predictability in how we operate and report. So further, I will give floor to my colleague Agnes Ozolka.
Good afternoon, everyone. I will introduce about this financial performance of Riga Water Company. Let me start with key drivers behind the changes in our profit and loss statement. This revenue, as mentioned before, is increased, reaching 80.3 million euros. The growth is primarily driven by tariff changes implemented in December. These tariff adjustments is effect from changes in regulated asset base due to revelation of underground network in 2024. Other operating income is decreasing due to lower level in EU support. This type of support for network expansion has now ended and it's not expected in future, but we are looking for new support to Daugavgrīvs expansion project in future. This position also includes the penalties for late payments, and this position actually is lower and replaced with higher income from pollution charges from industrial clients. Raw materials and energy costs is decreased by 40.5%, reflecting positive impact from energy efficiency initiatives last year. For example, electricity cost alone decreased by approximately 400,000, down to 4.7 million. But other changes in raw materials are mainly linked to cost capitalization. That is a result that our own employees are increasingly involved in construction of renovation. Cost is capitalized in the similar setup when external sources will be used. Overall, other costs remain stable as we continue to focus on efficiency and mitigating inflation. Staff costs remains largely stable. We had a slightly lower number of employees, and salary increases were limited last year since we implemented also this government restrictions. We are municipality-owned companies, therefore also restrictions is applicable also for us. Other operating expenses increases mainly due to IT costs. Since digitalization remains a key focus and priority last year. Sir, could you also see that other operating expenses? There is another cost item under this other operating expenses that part of fixed assets in amount of 600,000 euros is due to replacement under pipeline renovation, and this cost is reduced. As a result, EBITDA is significantly increased, almost by 20% and reaching 31 million euros, indicating a positive trend in margin. But it's in line with our strategy. I would like to also note this difference in depreciation as well. In 2024, there was one-off item in 26.6 million euros related to asset renovation, but this year this depreciation is stabilizing and expected also further in this amount. Overall profit before taxes reached 590 million euros. It's relatively modest, but it's important to note that this tariff effect comes only starting from December, and it will be visible in margins only in 2026. In summary, I would say that the 2025 result reflects stronger operational performance and more stable underlying results. In this slide, we can present balance sheet. You could see that fixed assets increased mainly due to this investment program, and at the same time there is also increased liabilities. Meanwhile, we have strong liquidity, strong equity base, and moderate leverage level that allows to increase our financial capacity. Going into details, there you can see breakdown for revenue. So our core business is increasing, despite that volume-wise it's similar comparing to last year. But we see that due to these tariff changes, income from water supply services and sewage services increasing. Still, we have providing services to surrounding territories. Almost 1% for water supply services and 10% from sewage services. Construction services is our non-core activity. We provide construction services only to connect centralized system in area where we expand. But since we slow down this volume, also income level is slowing down. But meanwhile, it's netting also cost position. Regarding operating expenses, you can see that operating expenses is decreasing. I already mentioned the reasons why it's decreasing in profit and loss statement, but looking in the future, our staff costs is the main part of costs. And since we have no indexation last year, we expect that in the future staff costs will increase. Regarding energy costs, last year was successful due to this implemented effect from energy efficiency projects, but also this year we expect that energy cost will decrease since 2 solar parks construction is finalized, and this week actually we testing this efficiency, and And also we are hedging the price for electricity for next 12 months that is in a similar level as 2024. These two types of costs, that is equipment repairs and reagents, is outsourced items, and there you can see increase due to this inflation, transportation cost increase, material cost increase. And other costs I mentioned before, there is expected to increase since telemetry project is implemented, and main part of these costs are IT costs. Regarding investments, there you can see how develop our investment program. As we promised, investments are the main priority of our investments are renovation of centralized network. The second priority is wastewater treatment plant. But still, we continue to invest on expansion. Around 3 million euros last year was invested, and it reached actually total investment program reach our promises that we promised to our investors and banks. Regarding bonds, at the end of the year, the bonds is a little bit more than half utilized. Proceeds according to this taxonomy aligned investments, and during this next few months we will fully utilize this proceeds. It means that actually we are starting to prolong this bond program for next 12 months, and most probably at the end of this year we will give the second tranche of the bond. We have strong equity base and moderate leverage level. This is the key, and this slide shows that we have ability to attract more financing and fulfill this investment programs that is initially approved in year 2025 for next 5 years. We closely monitor also this covenant structures that is set by banks, and you could see that cash flow from operations is enough to serve liabilities, interest rates, bank loans, bonds, and also dividends expectations. Our credit rating last year is remained as A3, and currently we are working on rating renewal. It will be published in 22nd of May 2026. We not expect that there will be any changes since our performance is in line with our budget. But of course, there is a risk that since we have state rating, in case the state rating or municipality rating will be changed, then also our rating could be adjusted. Receivable portfolio is stable, actually at historical level. You can see the increase in terms of euro, but it's because tariff changes. But if you look at this doubtful and non-performing receivable, it's improvement. 1% level is quite relatively low level. But taking into account concerns about potential worsening in payment discipline, this year we also decided to not apply penalties fee starting from January till April. Therefore, most probably it could influence receivable portfolio. As today, looking during this first 3 months, we not see any substantial changes in portfolio quality. As a result, Riga ūdens fully met all key financial targets that is set by shareholders, and this slide confirms that we are delivered promised result. And for next period.
Yeah, thank you, Agnese. So to conclude the presentation, let me briefly outline our strategic focus of year 2026. First, we will continue large-scale infrastructure modernization and network renovation. This is a part of our 235 million euro investment program for 2025 up to 2028, which reflects the long-term nature of our assets and the responsibility we have to ensure service continuity and safety and resilience. Second, a key priority remains the expansion and modernization of the Daugavgrīva wastewater treatment plant. This project is critical both for environment, compliance perspective, and for a long-term capacity and climate resilience in Riga region. Third, we will further advance utility network digitalization, including telemetry, data platforms, and analytics. These investments are not only about technology, they directly support efficiency, lower losses, and better decision-making, and improved customer service. Fourth, we will continue to invest in energy efficiency and renewable energy solutions, building on the progress already made with solar parks, energy management system, and sludge processing projects. This supports both cost control and climate commitments. Finally, we see the Green Bond Program as a permanent element of our financing strategy, with the next issuance planned. As access to capital markets allows us to fund long-term investments on competitive terms while maintaining a conservative risk profile. Overall, our focus for 2026 is very clear: disciplined growth through investment, strong ESG performance, and financial stability. And with that, I would like to thank you for your attention. And in summary, Riga Water is a stable, regulated infrastructure company with a clear long-term investment program, strong governance and ESG integration, and a conservative and transparent financial profile. We value our dialogue with investors and partners, and we see capital market as a long-term relationship rather than one-off transaction. Thank you very much, and we are ready to take your questions.
Thank you for the presentation. Indeed, we are now opening the Q&A session. Participants, a reminder to join the discussion, please write in your questions in the Q&A box that you see below the presentation. We'll start with the pre-session submitted questions. In the event of a crisis or war, are the drinking water extraction sites safe, and is there a backup capacity?
Yes, drinking water abstraction and the supply system is designed also for crisis conditions. Water abstraction facilities are classified as a critical infrastructure with defined security measures, and the water supply is based on multiple sources: surface water and groundwater, ensuring backup capacity. And we as a company has approved crisis management and business continuity plans with an uninterrupted supply of drinking water for residents as a top priority.
Thank you. It has been almost a year since you joined the exchange. How would you assess your experience with investor relations so far?
I think we will answer both. Me and Agnes, we also to add some statements. I think the first thing is that we have introduced several upgraded policies regarding our outsourcing policy, regarding corruption and whistleblowing policies, internal control policies. So we are very transparent and we are doing our best to gain trust from investors. And of course, we are preparing quarterly reports according to the standards and with our main focus on precise information for investors needed. Maybe Agnes, you can.
I would point out that there is more focus on communication. Investment programs previously was held inside, but currently we are trying to put information in our web page, in media, how this progress of investments is implemented.
Thank you. Could you please elaborate on the potential second tranche of the bond that would help to project leverage target for this and next years?
Yes, currently we see that we have uncommitted limits in banks, enough to realize this investment programs that is already approved. But of course, we are keeping in mind that currently price is increasing, and we should be safe to realize these investment programs. We are not decreasing project volumes. Therefore, we diversified this funding sources, and bonds is one of the tool.
And a follow-up on the same topic, do you plan for the next bond offer to be public?
And this is before that it was still under discussion, but I suppose that we currently are more targeting for investors, not
Professional.
for professional investors. Yes.
We will decide, depends on pricing conditions, since currently it's still unclear situation what pricing will be in the future, and decision about pricing and public offering will be taken at the end of this summer.
Thank you. At the moment, no new questions have come in. Let's pause for a couple of seconds to give time for everybody to ask their questions.
And maybe while public is thinking about questions, you can see on the slides that you can send all your questions later also to our head of finance department, Sandis. He will answer you.
Thank you. It seems we have addressed all the participants' questions today. That concludes our Q&A session. Participants, we appreciate your time and interest, and we will be looking forward to seeing you in our future events.
Thank you.
Thank you.